This is another book that I have in my hand. This is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. It is a really nice hardback Harper Voyager edition. I know this is the sort of text that is set in American schools, and it's very widely read, and I wanted to jump into it because it's just the sort of shit that I love. Dystopia, just really hammering that home. Fahrenheit 451 is about a guy called Guy, who lives in a world in which he is a firefighter. Not firefighter, because he doesn't fight fires. He's a fireman, and the fireman's job is to set fires. They burn things, specifically books. They burn knowledge. They try and remove any traces of past intelligent thought, and that is their job. So obviously, protagonist realizes that he doesn't quite agree with this. Starts hiding books, which is exactly why they burn all these. They burn down people's entire houses because they've been hoarding books for centuries. When there are people trying to get rid of all of them, so you have to be very secret if you're trying to be secret, and he obviously fails because he's a fireman. Something I really I'm just being silent now. Should I cut this out? Should I do cuts in this? I don't really do cuts, do I? There was something I was going to say about the book, and I can't remember it. It was... Oh, right. I remember it. I'm going to cut back into this. There's a really wonderful and strange connection between this book and this short story, in that you might remember I said in this short story people live in individual pods that give them everything that they want. In this story, people's main leisure and interest is them having living rooms with screens up on all of the walls with their families. Virtual? We don't really... They could be people from other living rooms conversing. It isn't very well... It's not defined specifically. But they're virtual, and they're vapid, and they're trivial. And triviality is the thing that Guy is trying to conquer, because he's in this marriage and he realizes one day that he does not know his wife, and he doesn't care about his wife, and his wife doesn't care about anything but sitting in the living room with her family watching trivial TV shows, soaps, I don't know. And it kind of leads him to reconsider everything after meeting this completely innocent girl called Clary. I want to say Clariel because I've been eyeing up my Garth Nix books. Something like that. Clarice. Hi, Clarice. Anyway, so Clarice is one of the that fresh start of youth and inspiration that leads Ray to Ray. I read Ray leads Guy to reconsider his opinions on what he does as a job. So the story happens. He buries books. He gets caught by his boss. The boss is like, you shouldn't, you can borrow one because you're curious, but no, return it, you burn, or you get eliminated. And there are two big revelations of mine, one is of his, that are really powerful. And one was that this wasn't some government scheme, a tool to try and force people to forget their heritage and their history, and force people to not care about literature and the preservation of knowledge. It was, in fact, I'm just looking at when this was written. This was written 61 years ago. This was published in 1953. it's actually because it wasn't a government scheme. It was the people. It was a society conscious mind led thing, and that's because, remember, this was said 61 years ago. It was because people want information faster. They want instant gratification. They want to have knowledge at their fingertips, and they don't need to go through if a poem's trying to tell a story, just deliver the fact in one sentence, because that is what we are like now. We are hungry and we want things. We want the immediacy of satisfaction. And that is I've only been alive 20 years, but in those 20 years I've seen that accelerate rapidly. Do you remember encyclopedias? Not Wikipedia. Physical, when you get a big book for every letter of the alphabet? That used to be when people spent time instead of Googling things, and it's so prophetic of our thoughts. And so it's not even... It was people that led to books burning. People just being apathetic about these sort of things, which is an awful thought. But then the other revelation, which is very sobering because it's essentially the opposite, is at the end, Guy meets a community of people that essentially are human books. They remember things. And that really warmed my heart, because it wasn't only the one protagonist against the world. It was a group of people that realised that they thought something different and wanted to stand with their beliefs, and they were holding on to this knowledge until the rest of the world realised, in however many years, decades, centuries it took, that they should hold on to this stuff again, and then their knowledge would be of use. And it's really nice, because I would never. It's nice to know you would never be one of these people that lives in this world that burns books and be okay with it. I would be one of those people at the end, one of those people that wanted to save the books. And I hope you would too. And I hope that, there definitely are, but it's what science fiction is built on. There are enough of those people in the world to combat the ones that wouldn't care.